In Genesis 25:19-26, the narrative of Isaac and Rebekah reveals profound meaning. Isaac, Abraham's son, was 40 years old when he married Rebekah. For many years, Rebekah remained childless, causing distress in their home. Isaac earnestly prayed to God on her behalf, seeking his blessing for children. God answered Isaac's heartfelt prayer, and Rebekah conceived. During her pregnancy, she experienced intense movements within her womb and sought the Lord's guidance to understand this. God disclosed to Rebekah that she carried twins, symbolizing two nations. He declared, "Two nations are in your womb. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger." When the time arrived, Esau was born first, described as red and covered with hair like a garment. Immediately following, Jacob was born, grasping Esau's heel. Isaac was 60 years old at their birth, around 2006 BC. This event marked the beginning of a significant chapter, setting the foundation for the futures of Jacob and Esau as God had foretold. In Genesis 25:27-28, Esau is portrayed as a skilled hunter, a man deeply connected to the outdoors. Growing up in the rugged terrain of ancient Canaan, Esau became adept at tracking wild animals, reading the subtle signs of the wilderness, and using his bow and traps with practiced skill. His clothing was likely fashioned from the skins of animals he hunted, and his sun-weathered face reflected countless hours spent under open skies. Esau's hunting provided essential sustenance for his family, making him a crucial provider. Rebekah, their mother, favored Jacob. This difference in character and lifestyle between the brothers set the foundation for the family's unfolding story. The biblical account captures a realistic scene of ancient pastoral life, where each son's role was shaped by their environment and skills, influencing their future paths. Genesis 25:29-34 recounts a pivotal moment between two brothers, Jacob and Esau, sons of Isaac and Rebekah. The scene unfolds in the family tent, set within the rugged landscapes of ancient Canaan. Esau, the elder twin, returns from the field, weary and famished after hunting. Jacob, the younger, is preparing a simple pot of red lentil stew over a fire. Esau pleads, "Let me eat some of that red stew, for I am famished." Jacob seizes the moment and proposes a bargain. "Sell me your birthright now." In the ancient Hebrew tradition, the birthright granted the firstborn a double portion of the inheritance and the leadership of the family after the father's death. Esau, focused solely on his immediate hunger and exhaustion, replies, "I am about to die. Of what use is a birthright to me?" Despite the gravity of the birthright, Esau undervalues it and agrees to sell it, thus transferring his birthright for a meal of bread and lentil stew. Jacob then gives Esau the food, and Esau eats and drinks, then rises and leaves. The passage closes with the somber observation, "Thus, Esau despised his birthright." This event highlights Esau's disregard for his inheritance and Jacob's shrewdness in securing the birthright through negotiation. In Genesis 27:1-41, Isaac, advanced in years and blind, prepares to bless his eldest son Esau before his death. He instructs Esau to hunt game and prepare a savory meal for him. Rebekah overhears and recalls God's prophecy that the older son would serve the younger son Jacob to fetch 2 young goats. She prepares a meal Isaac loves and dresses Jacob in Esau's best garments. While Esau is away hunting, Rebekah cooks a meal and dresses Jacob in Esau's clothes. To mimic Esau's hairy skin, she covers Jacob's hands and neck with goat skins. Jacob approaches Isaac's tent with the food. Isaac, suspicious of the voice, asks to touch Jacob's hands, believes it is Esau. Genesis 27:18-27. Isaac eats the meal and bestows a blessing on Jacob, granting him abundance, dominion, and the allegiance of nations. Genesis 27:28-29. Soon after, Esau returns with his game, only to discover the deception. Esau pleads for a blessing, but Isaac declares the original blessing irrevocable. Genesis 27:34-40. Filled with rage, Esau vows to kill Jacob, forcing Jacob to flee and setting the stage for future strife between the brothers. Genesis 27:41. Rebekah overheard Esau's angry plans after Jacob received Isaac's blessing through her guidance. Fearing for Jacob's life, she acted swiftly. Calling Jacob to her, Rebekah said, "Behold, your brother Esau comforts himself about you by planning to kill you. Now, my son, obey my voice. Arise, flee to my brother Laban in Haran, and stay with him for a while, until your brother's fury turns away." Genesis 27:42-44. Rebekah's words were urgent and filled with motherly concern. She instructed Jacob to leave immediately, hoping that time would heal Esau's anger and bring peace to their family. Rebekah then spoke to Isaac, expressing her distress at the thought of Jacob marrying a Canaanite woman. Isaac summoned Jacob, blessed him, and commanded him not to marry any of the daughters of Canaan, but instead to find a wife from Laban's family. Jacob obeyed and departed for Haran. Meanwhile, Esau noticed that his parents disapproved of Canaanite wives. Seeking their approval, he married Mahalath, Ishmael's daughter. Thus, Rebekah's wisdom and quick action set Jacob on a journey that would shape the future of Israel. After fleeing from his brother Esau, Jacob arrived in Haran as described in Genesis 29. At a well outside the city, he found shepherds waiting to water their flocks. Rachel, daughter of Laban, came with her father's sheep. Rachel ran to inform her father. Laban quickly came out, embraced Jacob, and warmly welcomed him into his home. Jacob stayed with Laban for a month, after which Laban offered him wages for his service. Deeply in love with Rachel, Jacob agreed to work 7 years to marry her. When the time came, Laban deceived Jacob by giving him Leah, his older daughter, instead, explaining that custom required the elder daughter to marry first. Jacob then agreed to serve another 7 years for Rachel. Over roughly 20 years, Jacob married Leah and Rachel, and also had children by their maidservants, beginning the 12 tribes of Israel. Meanwhile, Esau settled in Seir, becoming the ancestor of the Edomites, Genesis 36. Jacob, after many years away, journeyed back to Canaan with his large family and abundant possessions, as recorded in Genesis 32:33. Fearing his brother Esau's wrath from their past conflict, Jacob carefully divided his people, flocks, and herds into 2 separate camps, hoping that if Esau attacked one group, the other might escape. To seek Esau's favor, Jacob sent ahead generous gifts of goats, sheep, camels, cows, and donkeys, each led by his servants bearing humble messages to Esau, expressing his hope for peace. That night, alone by the ford of the Jabbok River, Jacob wrestled with a mysterious man until daybreak. When the man could not overpower him, he touched Jacob's hip, causing it to be wrenched. Jacob refused to release him unless blessed. The man then blessed Jacob and declared, "Your name will no longer be Jacob but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with men and have overcome." Genesis 32:28. At dawn, Jacob saw Esau approaching with 400 men. Instead of hostility, Esau ran to Jacob, embraced him, and wept. Jacob bowed to the ground 7 times in respect. Esau accepted Jacob's gifts, and the brothers reconciled. They parted peacefully, Esau returning to Seir, and Jacob settling in Succoth, and later Shechem. As the sun set over Mamre, near Hebron, 2 elderly men approached the family tomb, the cave of Machpelah. Jacob and Esau, once rivals, now stood side by side, united in grief to bury their father, Isaac, as recorded in Genesis 35:27-29. Isaac, son of Abraham, lived 180 years. At his passing, his twin sons, both likely in their 120s, honored him together. Jacob, the shepherd, wore simple garments, his face lined with years of struggle and blessing. Esau, the skilled hunter, bore the rugged features and reddish hair described in his youth. After Isaac's burial, Genesis 36 details Esau's descendants. Esau, also called Edom, became the father of the Edomites, a nation dwelling in the hill country of Seir. His sons and grandsons, Eliphaz, Reuel, Jush, Jalam, and Korah, are listed, leading to chiefs and clans. These Edomites would later stand in frequent conflict with Israel, yet here, Jacob and Esau's final act together was one of peace and respect.